hope everybody else was dancing the same way we were to that groovy little tune before we came on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live stream all about how to stop lurking and start engaging and getting more active on LinkedIn. My name is Emma Roloff, for anyone that I don't know, and I am the co-founder of Roloff Consulting. And we focus on helping both individuals and companies figure out how to get more active online and use that as a tool to grow their individual careers or their businesses. James, do you want to say hello to everybody?
Yes, I am James or Jim Roloff, whatever you want to call me, depending on who you are. And I'm also here, part of Roloff Consulting. And I'm excited about today. This is a topic that is near and dear to my heart because there are so many people who are out there who are great at what they do. They are experts in their industry. They do great work for their clients, but nobody knows it online because they lurk in the shadows. They don't create content. They don't engage with their network. And you probably have a lot to offer when it comes to your ability to post things online. So today is all about how do you get started doing that? How do you stop lurking and start posting and start engaging? And both of us have seen this transform our careers as well as many of our clients and our community members and people around us. And both of us have built large sales pipelines by creating content and doing this strategy we're talking about. So I'm excited for today. That was a long introduction, but I wanted to get that off my chest before we got started.
I'm excited for today because we also have an announcement for a really cool thing that we're going to be doing. We'll get to that after we talk a little bit more about kind of the background of how to get started with LinkedIn, talking through the opportunity that you have by getting over the capacity of being a lurker. I don't think capacity was the right word, but getting over being a lurker. And we'll get to the exciting announcement towards the end so that we can give you the tools that you need to get going.
Yes. And this is a live stream. We're here live with you. This is not pre-recorded garbage. So you can engage with us. I'm already seeing some people in the comments section. We have our great moderator, Weston, here. He's watching the comments too, coming through and filtering them for us. So definitely ask questions away. This is not like we have a couple slides as far as things we want to cover and some thoughts to have as we go through this. But this is not like a full-on, sit down lecture, right? This is a live stream. We want to engage with you, answer questions, because more often than not, what we find when it comes to how to stop lurking and start engaging is people have concerns. They don't know how to do it. They are afraid. They don't know, where to post, when to post, what to post, and so this is a good opportunity for you to bounce questions off of us, as well as the community that is lurking in the comment section, and hopefully not lurking, but actually engaging. So,
I mean, if you're commenting, you're not lurking by nature. It takes away the lurking capacity then. So
that's very true. So let's talk about.
No. Yep. We need to introduce Larry. We did not talk about who Larry is and why he was on our groovy little intro and why he's on the slide and who he is and why he matters.
Yeah, so Larry is our anti-mascot here at Roloff Consulting. He is a lurker. He's a monster. He's sad because he never actually started creating content and engaging and building audience online. So he is a big part of our brand and kind of a friendly little monster that's here to encourage you to not be like Larry. And I've done this plenty of times before, and usually people take us up on it, but we have stickers. We have Larry stickers. We have a Don't Be a Lurker sticker. We have a Larry sticker. And if you want one, just either DM us, because you probably don't want to drop your mailing address into the comment section on LinkedIn.
You can be like Dan. Dan already told us where he lives, but if you don't want to be like Dan and you don't want to put your address out for everybody to see, just say I really want to get a Larry sticker in the comments, and we'll follow up with a DM, or you can just DM one of us right away and we will start the conversation and get you some Larry stickers. I will say, people that have them, their kids love them. And our friend Philip Morris, who spoke at our Digital Leadership Ignite Summit last year, who some of you that are on the live stream might be familiar with, he told me that the second graders in Milwaukee are big fans of Larry and they talk about not being a lurker. And it's been coined a cool, like school appropriate way to tell other kids not to be weird. So your stickers might get stolen from your children if you take us up on it.
Yes. So now let's dive into talking about how to stop lurking and start engaging. Again, we don't have a lot of content to go through, but I want to, more than anything, it's a mindset shift, right? And today I want this to be an opportunity for you to think about your approach to digital strategy, showing up online, and hopefully get a mindset shift, as well as, like Emma said, we have a special announcement in the process here too. So first things first is the 1% rule. And for those of you I see in the comments who have been following me for a while, this is something I bring up on nearly every single presentation because I'm a big fan of looking at power laws and distributions and models that give you an opportunity to grow at a accelerated rate. And one power law that you see in online communities is something called the 1% rule. And this was a study that was done initially on online message boards, but it's been replicated across different social media platforms. And even with LinkedIn's own data, they have made this clear this is a thing. So, and what it is that 90% of users on LinkedIn, and I believe LinkedIn has over 1 billion users, 90% of them just lurk. That means they are on, they log in, but they don't actually do anything. They just scroll down the feed, maybe accept some, some connection requests that come up, and maybe stalk some people, but that's all they do. You just lurk, right? So, and I'm looking at the live stream right now. We have people in here, and it's probably distribution similar to that. Like a good chunk of people here are just kind of watching, which is good for you. Hopefully we can inspire you today. Then just under 10% of any user group will contribute, meaning engage. These are my people who are in the comment section right now. They're showing up from Florida. They're showing their actual home addresses. I'm in Madison.
I'm gonna call out every lurker. I can see how many people are on this stream, and I know you're not all commenting. So you know who you are if you're sitting there watching and not commenting.
Yes. So 90% of people lurk, and that is Larry. That is Larry the lurker, and that's what we're trying to stop today. About 10% will contribute, and then about 1%, or essentially 1% of users, right? So again, think about LinkedIn, weekly users, 1% of people will actually post and create content on a regular basis. And again, we're on LinkedIn now, we're actually on YouTube streaming too. This is true for LinkedIn, this is true for Instagram, this is true for YouTube, this is true for you name it, right? That only 1% of users are consistently creating content. And specifically in the case of LinkedIn, that means posting once a week. Now, I must have found the comments. Now, I'll say one last thing here. What that says to me is there is a massive, massive, massive opportunity for those who are willing to create content. And I've seen it all the time, that these people who step out of the lurking shadows and start creating content on a regular basis, they start to reap the rewards of building that authority online, expanding the reach of their name, of themselves and their business, and expanding their careers too. Because all of a sudden they go from someone who's lurking in the shadows to someone who's actually showing up online, building trust at scale, and reaping the benefits of it. And that's again at the heart of what we do. But Emma, maybe some thoughts on this as well.
Well, I think, one, I really like that my shaming worked. We got a couple of people to stop lurking and get active in the comments. That teacher voice really gets people. But I think the biggest piece here, and you've talked about this, is that you don't necessarily have to be like an influencer or like posting and doing all of this stuff every single day for it to make an influence and an impact in the way that you're seen and your reputation and the perception of you outside of your organization. And I think one of the stories I like to talk about a lot is oftentimes we think that because we work in like professional settings and we're doing this type of thing on LinkedIn that we need to show up a certain way, or that like we have to go all in if all of a sudden we're going to start posting on LinkedIn and we need to do it every single day and we need to do video and we make it bigger than it needs to be in our minds. And I think that that's why this is such an important thing to keep in mind, is a little bit of activity goes a really long way in terms of helping control the narrative of who you are in the marketplace. And the story that I was going to say is, like, James and I had a meeting a couple of months ago with a prospect, and I knew some of the people on the team. I didn't know everybody on the team. And we got onto the call and I was talking to someone and he mentioned that, like, oh, I feel like I know you. I've seen your content. I always get a kick out of it, blah, blah, blah. And then fast forward to like 10 minutes into the conversation, we're talking about the importance of this and how to get their sales team mobilized with it. And the same guy who told me that he had seen my videos and saw all of this content that I was putting out there and felt like he knew me, he was like, I just don't know if our buyers are doing that. I don't know if our buyers are looking at LinkedIn to try and get a sense of who our salespeople are before we meet with them. And I was like, back it up. Like, think about your own behavior. You just told me that you went before this meeting and watched me online, and now you have a sense of who I am and who you're working with. If you're doing it, why would you think that your prospects aren't doing it? Is it because you think your prospects are different than you or more professional than you, that social media doesn't make an impact on the way that they view you or your sales team? And as soon as I said that, he was like, ooh, good call. Like, it's kind of hypocritical for me to go do it as like a senior vice president of a very large company, but then to think that my prospects aren't also doing the same thing. And so every little bit of activity that keeps you relevant and front of mind makes an impact, whether you're applying for a job or selling a product or even just representing your company, because realistically, even if you don't like to admit it, we're all kind of in sales in terms of the way that we show up in the world and represent our organizations. So this is really important and it makes a big impact quickly.
Yes. And we'll talk about the content to create and all that going forward too. But I want to emphasize something too, that our framework at the Roll Off Consulting is the favorite teacher. And we talk about all the time that your job is to show up and to educate people and empower your audience, empower your buyers. When we say create content, we don't mean go online and just post LinkedIn AI slap or like, cringe slap, right? I hate that. I really, it makes me very upset to see that online. And my goal is to inspire you to share your expertise that you already have with your audience and help people. I want you to help teach people online, because that is how you build an audience. It's a really rewarding way of doing this too. We have people who are coming out of the shadows. Noreen's coming out of the shadows. Patrick's coming out of the shadows.
In defense of Patrick, he was one of our first commenters. He did not wait until I poked everybody.
Yeah. Daryl's coming out of the shadows. So I love seeing this here before we move forward. So, all right, now let's kind of dive a little bit deeper and let's talk about a simple strategy and way to get started with creating content and to stop being a lurker. And this is called the 5-3-1 framework. This is what I always recommend to clients when it comes to how to get started, because a lot of the initial questions people have about creating content and how to start posting is just like, how often should you do it? When should you do it? What does that process look like, right? And a really simple thing to keep in mind is 5-3-1. So 5 comments every day. So that's just a daily activity. And the reason we start with comments is because comments are really important to start to build your network and your engagement. I see a lot of people that who are not afraid of creating content. They start creating content right away, but they're shouting into the void because they don't have a network of people built up who are actually going to engage with their content. So if you want people to engage with your content, you need to be engaging with other people's content. It's a great way to show up. It's a great way to build that name recognition. It's a great way to support other people too. So every single day, post 5 comments at least. And then you put your finger up.
Speaking of commenting on other people's posts, I think everybody who wants this to happen needs to, 1, register for Ignite so that we know that you will be there to watch Dan in all of his glory. And then 2, like or comment to the effect that you want to see Dan dressed up as Larry. And part of the reason this is so compelling, Dan, is our daughters have asked us multiple times to make Larry into a physical mascot. And knowing that you'll get into the suit and neither one of us needs to do it makes it a lot more appealing.
That sounds expensive. So 5 comments a day. Here's a recommendation for how much to post every week. 3 posts a week, right? So that this is the initial recommendation that we have for people who are getting started. Is if you can post 3 times a week, you're going to be showing up consistently on people's feeds. Like I mentioned just that one slide ago for the 1% rule, to be in the top 1%, you just need to post 1 time a week. But for a general cadence, I'd say try and post 3 times a week, right? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, trying to create some sort of post online. Again, focus on educational content. What are those common questions that your prospects are asking you? What are those questions they should be asking you? What is a skill that you just learned that you can then teach back to your audience? What is an insight that you have in your industry that you think people should know? There are tons of low-hanging fruit topics that if you think about it, you can create content, educate people 3 times a week.
And we also keep teasing this announcement that we have. That's going to make this 3 category a lot easier for you for the next couple of weeks with the challenge that we've got coming up. So if hearing that and hearing someone say 3 times a week feels overwhelming, we have some tools for you.
Yes. And finally, 1 long form post or content piece a month. So I know we're talking about how to, we're mostly talking about social media right now and how to start posting and start engaging. But I think it's important to have at least 1 long form piece of content on a monthly basis. And when I say long form piece of content, I'm talking about a blog post or a LinkedIn article. So we're on LinkedIn here. It can be a blog post on your website, a LinkedIn article. It can be a newsletter. It can be a YouTube video, something where you go a little bit deeper, right? So and a lot of times I recommend is take one of those social posts you've already did. You've answered some question. You've already taught something. And can you elaborate on it further and turn it into a long form piece of content? So again, really simple background here as far as how to conceptualize the frequency of what you're doing. 5 comments a day, 3 posts a week, and 1 long form piece of content every month. If you can do this, you will start showing up online. People will start to see you. You will start to build that trust. And I say this from experience of working with tons of clients on this. If you can stay consistent with this cadence, you're going to start seeing results on it.
I think it's time to open it up for questions because you and I can keep talking about this all day long, but the people that have joined might have some specific questions about content or how to come up with ideas. And we'll certainly get to our announcement here in a minute to talk a little bit more about how we're going to help you with that and what that challenge will look like. But I think the biggest thing here, going back to the 1% rule and everything else, is don't overcomplicate it. Think about the conversations that you're having with clients or coworkers. Think about how you can use LinkedIn as an opportunity to expand the conversations that you're already having on a daily basis with people that you're not sitting in the same room as, and the scale that comes from that and the ability that you have to impact your industry, your company, and your individual career from it. Rewinding back to, I can hear the wind whipping through your window in there. Going back to when I first started creating content, I started with 1 post a week. And I got consistent with that. And then I stepped up to, I think I did go to 3 then because I saw the value that was coming from that 1 post I was making a week. And then it went to 5. But when you're thinking about stepping out of the lurker zone, start with those 5 comments every single day if posting feels too intimidating. Start adding really thoughtful, longer comments into like people's posts and having conversations. And suddenly that will all of a sudden like, hold on a second. That could be a post on its own. And I'm getting really good traction here. People like this idea. And then it feels a lot less scary to hit the post button on your own post about that concept or that idea.
Yeah, comments are a great way to start. And there's always that you can always expand the reach of what you're doing. So like you're just saying, Emma, you can just start with a comment, right? You might read something or engage with something and you have a comment and you want to share an insight that you have in the comment section. You might turn that comment into a post, and then you might turn that post into some sort of long form article or YouTube video and that type of thing. So it's a great way to get started. It's a great way to kind of dip your toes in the water as part of the process too. Yeah, so as Evan said, start dropping some questions in. I see some already coming in here. We can start answering them. I know there's a good like 30-second delay in what LinkedIn Live does, and you guys coming in. But yeah, let's answer Patrick's question here first. So long form, what do you think is better, LinkedIn article, blog, article in a mag, or professional journal? So I'll give my take on this, and Emma, you can give yours too. My background is in digital marketing and SEO. And so SEO, search engine visibility, and AI visibility are a big part of what I do. The gold standard for that would be something that you own, an owned media, right? So a blog on your website is a great spot to be creating content. And obviously you can share that blog in a newsletter or on LinkedIn. But I know for a lot of people, either you work for a large company and you can't just publish a blog post on their website automatically, or you run your own business and you don't have a blog set up yet. You're not actively doing that. So in that case, I think a LinkedIn article is a great thing to do. People are already on here. You have built-in distribution. So as you hit publish, your audience will automatically see that, and you can have discussions too. So I would say, if you're just getting started, start with LinkedIn articles. And then if you find that you like doing long form, written cadence, then you can move to a blog post on a website or a newsletter.
I think something also to add is if you have the access to get published in like a professional journal or a magazine, that's really, really great from an authority perspective, and also will help you show up. And James has done some content on this. So if you want to deep dive into how to show up from like an AI visibility standpoint, traditional media, things like magazines and professional journals do a nice job of helping surface you as an expert in that capacity. So it's very valuable. But to James's point, like if getting on your company's blog feels like a lot of work, getting on one of those publications, if you're not working with someone that's in, if you're not already a part of a professional group that has access to being able to publish there, or you're not working with a PR person or have access to people that are publishing those types of things, start with LinkedIn, start there. And if you enjoy that and you communicate well in that capacity, it might lead to the opportunity for some of those other publications to reach out to you because they saw what you're saying and they want to have that represented in their publication.
Yeah, and definitely, from an SEO perspective and AI visibility perspective, publishing on professional journals is great, as well as just credibility, right? Like just to say you've been published in that area is a nice thing too.
I'm going to pop this one up real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll go to James's question here that I see. But Dave mentioned that comments are underrated and that many of his comments get more views than his LinkedIn posts. This comment right here, Dave, thank you for planting this seed because comments are content. And LinkedIn has sent that signal to everybody very strongly in the last 6 months. So when Dave says that his comments are reaching more people than his posts, it's because LinkedIn has released the functionality for you to see how many impressions your comments have, in addition to how many impressions your posts have, which to me is a massive signal from LinkedIn that they are telling everybody on their platform, comments are content too, and we want you to know how many people you're reaching with those comments. So this is a really important thing, piece to bring up. Thank you, Dave. And it leads really nicely into James's question here. And does it matter if your comments are related to your expertise, or is it just important to comment? Being active, commenting gets you seen. But congratulations, I'm so happy for you. Great new role. Those types of things, they make other people feel great. They're wonderful for nurturing your network, but it's not necessarily going to help you build credibility and authority the same way commenting from your experience base will. That being said, there's plenty of things that you might want to comment on and you have views and thoughts on that will help you attract the right people to you. So I'm not saying only ever comment on what you want to be known for as an expert, but make sure you're mixing those in. James, I don't know anything else.
No, I do. Yeah, straight from the horse's mouth. This is in summer of 2024. LinkedIn's editors came out and said specifically that when it comes to getting reach on posts, they want people to post about things that they have expertise on. So their algorithm, in one form or another, is looking at your profile, it's looking at your role, it's looking at your industry, it's looking at your education. And if you are posting, I'm talking about posts right now, we're posting posts that are related to what you do, that will give them a better chance of being successful and reaching more people versus posting about things that you don't know about. That was from them. Again, there is literally tens of thousands of things that affect reach and the algorithm, but they specifically said in summer of 2024 that they care about related expertise when it comes to posts. Now, to the question, one of the things they mentioned there too is that if people are commenting on posts that are also in your industry or related to what you're doing, that also helps. So, yeah, to answer your question, James, what LinkedIn's goal is to have people posting about things they know about and starting discussions with other people in that area. That is one of their stated goals as far as content reach and authority goes. So,
And you just reminded me of another really important piece.
Yeah, to hop on in.
Substantive comments. So like when the algorithm is looking at how it pushes stuff out, when it looks at your post and people commenting on your post, it wants comments that are over 5 words. And from that standpoint, if you're the commenter that's going in and putting thoughtful comments in that actually spark discussion and get people going back and forth, that's when your comment gets more traction. That's when the post that you commented on gets more traction. And if you're able to facilitate that type of conversation in your comments, that helps your reach substantially as well.
Yes. So this is not to overthink it. And I know that this is great. I'm glad these great questions are coming in too. But I want to emphasize like a lot of the hesitation around posting either content or comments, that kind of stuff, is people overthinking what they're doing a little bit, right? And ultimately it comes down to just going in, providing value, as we say, like be that favorite teacher, educate people, join discussions. That is a stated goal of LinkedIn. And so if you're going in with that mindset, that's going to make you successful. That's a good way to kind of think about what you're doing too.
Mm-hmm. Another question coming. I didn't actually click it. From Michael is, does the LinkedIn algorithm punish you if you post too much? Yes. Yes, it does. One of the things that LinkedIn's algorithm does, because they don't want to become like a TikTok or an Instagram. Now we could have a debate about that with the video side of things, but they don't want people posting 5 or 6 times a day. They want thoughtful, intentional posts that create conversation. And so what actually happens is when you make a post, it looks and sees if you have posted already that day or not. And basically what happens is it kind of throttles your reach across your 2 posts, as opposed to like if you post twice in one day, it'll kind of throttle your reach on those posts and distribute what it would have given one of those posts across both of them. So if you think about doing that 5 times a day, that lowers your reach on each one of those posts individually. And what they're trying to do is keep people from posting multiple times a day because they view that as spammy behavior. So is there a time and a place to do it twice in one day if you get like a really great idea or something like that? Sure. Or like today we're live streaming. I made a post earlier today. We actually had a conversation. We got a real banger coming out tomorrow, but I'm holding it for tomorrow because of this. And so I didn't want to like throttle the reach of this post that I'm excited about because we were doing a LinkedIn Live and it was potentially going to be seen as 2 posts in one day.
Yeah, and to clarify too, Michael, the way that our insight comes on this, right? And there's tons of people that look at the LinkedIn algorithm and how that works too. But when we've done analysis on this with our clients, let's throw out numbers here. Let's say a client was averaging 2,000 impressions a day on their posts. What we saw is if they posted 2 or 3 times a day, that 2,000 turns into 2 posts that got 1,000 impressions each, or split up between 750, 750-ish, and 300-ish, or that kind of thing. So what we saw in the data was that basically a person got a certain amount of engagement or reach in general with their posts. And if they posted more frequently, it just got split up amongst those things. So, and that daily level seemed to be where the benefit, the maximum dose seemed to be as far as the impressions and reach goes.
We've got another question here about what happens when you have expertise in multiple domains. How do you deal with the algorithm wanting you to stay in your lane? I would say that this is something that I am constantly playing with because I came from an enterprise software sales background. I talk a lot about digital transformation of operations. Right now, we're talking about digital transformation in the sales and marketing space, but also just talking about LinkedIn and getting active and what it looks like to post. In the mind of the algorithm, those are kind of two separate things, right? But I am still able to create content and publish content in these two different domains, even though they have slightly different audiences that I do think overlap. And we have been talking a lot about the concept of digital leadership and how both of those kind of bubble up into this category. But I would say, looking back at the 5-3-1, make sure when it comes to your areas of domain or expertise that you're commenting on posts that have to do with those different areas. So even if you are, again, kind of split, make sure you're interacting with and engaging with posts that fall into those categories across the board. So for you, maybe that means like to build that domain expertise in LinkedIn's mind, you're doing 8 comments and it's 4 and 4 for the two areas that you're trying to focus on. And then kind of splitting up your content in that avenue too. So if you're aiming for 3 posts in a week, maybe one of those posts falls into one area of expertise and then the next one falls into another category. And over time, LinkedIn will understand that you have that expertise in both of those areas. And it will, again, the people that are interested in it will find that content if you stay consistent, but you have to stay consistent and touching on both of those areas of expertise. And the reason that I would say that LinkedIn will help it find, so James mentioned kind of the announcements that they made a couple of years ago about the importance of commenting and posting in your realm of expertise. They recently came out and announced that they have again done another adjustment to the algorithm. And if you want to learn a little bit more about that, on our website, we have our kind of state of the LinkedIn feed in 2026 report that you can go download. But one of the things that they have straight from the babe's mouth, you can see that they are trying to kind of like reroute people based off of interest and based off of keywords that are in posts and keywords that are in videos that are posted on the platform. And so it is a more interest-based algorithm. And the video that I saw from one of their product managers was talking about, instead of walking into a conference and seeing the whole room and trying to figure out who you know and going to talk to the people that you know, it's like having the LinkedIn algorithm right next to you in that conference saying, ooh, I know that you're interested in getting more active on LinkedIn. So let's go talk to Emma because she's got some really good content on that. And then maybe somebody else in the party has their own little like LinkedIn assistant with them. And they say, Emma talks a lot about digital transformation and what it means to lead in a digital world. Let's go talk to her. And it will kind of like guide people towards your post based off of the content that's there. So you just have to stay consistent with showing up with that to essentially train the algorithm to say, hey, I'm here. And I don't have one lane, I have a couple.
Yeah, and I'll add to that too, that it does matter, right? And there's a personal brand aspect of it. And I don't like that word, but like people have to know you for something. But I also think like we're not one-dimensional people. None of us are. And if anything, it might not even be multiple professional domains. It can be more like you have a personal thing that you enjoy talking about. Share that too. Don't like totally conflate your content with a bunch of random things, but you can be 70% business, 30% personal stuff that you enjoy sharing. That's part of who you are and what you do. And that just adds more depth. It allows you to connect with people on a different level. And one of the things I hate seeing on LinkedIn feed is people that just post business, gook. And it's like, who are you? Like, who are you as a person? Where's your personality? So I think there's a lot to be offered up there. And some of our most successful clients will share personal things. And I don't mean like posting pictures of their pizza, but I mean like literally like things that they're passionate about that allow them to connect with their audience on a deeper level. So I think there's definitely do not be a one-dimensional person, because I know you're not, right? Now, I'm going to pause for a hot second. There's some really good questions coming in. And I want good questions to keep coming in. But we are 35 minutes in this live stream. We have the challenge announcement. I want to get the challenge announcement out there, and then we can come back to questions.
So Keith and Dan, stay around. We're going to announce the challenge, and we'll come back to you and any other questions that we've got.
Yeah, so keep asking questions. And Dan LeCloche, as always, set us up great for announcing this challenge here. And so we're going to answer one more question. Then we'll pop back to more questions. What's the deal with the 90% of people who don't engage your post? Are they missing out on the value of social media? Yes. Yes, they are, Dan. They are lurking. They're maybe getting some mild entertainment, but they're not making connections. They're not building trust. They're not expanding their reach. And what they need to do is start creating content on a regular basis. So what we're going to do is we are going to have a fun little challenge here at Roll Off Consultant for 2 weeks. And I don't know, can someone pull the slides back up? Here we go.
Hold on, I did the wrong thing here. There we go.
We got a fun little challenge at Roll Off Consulting, something for the kids
Bingo!
to enjoy. We are playing bingo, B-I-N-G-O, for the next 2 weeks. There is a bingo card that you can access. And the goal here is to, like typical bingo, you want to go in and you want to get 5 different boxes in a row, diagonal, up, down, left, right. You have a free space who is Larry. And he's
still lurking, but we'll give you credit for him.
Yep. And he's your free space on there. And the goal here is to get you to start posting. And in each one of those spaces is a post idea or something you can do to start engaging at a higher level. And you go through, you complete your 5 different boxes, or 4 if you include Larry as your free space. You submit that to our website. We have a form you can fill out, and so as part of this form fill out, we want you to save the links to your posts or screenshot them. Ideally, if you send a link to us showing the posts that you have, we can then share it with our audience and get you even more reach and kind of help boost that up too. But if you submit a completed bingo card, everyone's a winner. You get a free month of the Catalyst community, and you can join us and do some deeper dive into your digital strategy. And then we'll do one grand prize winner who'll get 6 months of the Catalyst community. Oh, sorry. 6 months of the Catalyst community and some awesome Patagonia Catalyst community swag.
Is that photo me wearing the Patagonia? Is it a Patagonia image with the face cut off? We'll never know. Yeah. I'll do this. Is it me? We don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. And I know that there's some Catalyst community members already in the comments here in the sections. So yes, you can play. Yes, you're encouraged to play. Yes, we are going to have multiple Patagonia sweaters heading out there. So
we're going to have one grand prize winner in the community and one outside of the community that's joining as a part of the challenge. But again, the big piece here is everybody who submits a finalized bingo card gets a month of the community to come in, get surrounded by people that have a similar mindset, that are willing to help you get out of the lurker zone and into the consistent posting zone. Or even if you are someone who posts regularly, I see Alex Sapazzo in the comments here and a couple of other people like Michael from the community who are both avid, active posters, but hopefully they can attest in the comments to the value of just being surrounded by other people. I saw Curtis in there too, who are creating content, can talk through things with you, help give you feedback on the approach that you're taking, share insights like what we're talking about today. So there's a ton of value, whether you are just starting out or more experienced. We have everybody from people just trying to get going to really experienced content creators and everywhere in between. And you get this really supportive group that can help you wherever you are on that journey.
Yes. And again, the idea here is that on those different tiles, there's different ideas and some different things to do, because that tends to be something people get stuck up on, right? Is like, what content should I create? You know, I'm struggling with a couple of ideas. So not just even post ideas, but also different means of expanding your digital strategy or what's in there. So,
and some of it isn't posting either. Some of it is things like updating your profile to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. Some of it is doing things like creating an idea bank, and it can literally be a piece of paper that when you get a good question from a client or you see an article that you want to come back to, that you're jotting those ideas down. And in those scenarios, that's where you can upload the picture of your idea bank versus a link. But some of it is online and some of it is offline, and all the type of things that we help coach people through as a part of the Catalyst community.
Yes. So I have
scan this little guy to get access to your bingo card.
Yes. So I'm excited about this. This is fun. This would be a fun little thing here. Again, it's 2 weeks. I don't think we have the dates on here. Maybe not. We don't. So it runs today through April 22nd. So you have 2 weeks to do 4 different squares, or 5 if you want to challenge and don't use the free space. But you have 2 weeks to do that. Submit them. Everyone's a winner. Obviously, you're a winner just for getting started and posting and engaging, not being a lurker anymore. But then we have some grand prize winners. We'll announce them the following week then too.
We're going to do another live stream on the 27th that will announce our winners for the challenge and share some of the content that we're seeing, which is, again, why we really want links so that we can share really great examples, help hype everybody up, get you a little bit of visibility from our channels as well.
Yes. Okay. We'll leave the bingo sign up QR code there for those that are interested. But we have more questions. So I want to keep answering questions. We've got 15 minutes left. So I know that there's a lot of people on here who are they're still lurkers. You're still like Larry. You're a little bit unsure about this whole creating content thing. So we want to help answer some of your questions here too. Now I got to find them because we have.
As soon as you said still lurking, I thought about how I used to read The Hunger Caterpillar, how he's still hungry. Okay, so Dan asked a really good question here, and then we'll get to Keith's question. If you are sitting there and you've got thoughts in your mind that you want to put into the comments, stop lurking, ask us your questions. We've got some time here. And then also make sure to scan the bingo card sign up. But so what does reach mean? And is it how many people actually saw your post, read your post, or just saw it show up on their feed? And what type of interaction does someone need to be registered as a reach? So a couple of things. When it is a text post or an image post, all LinkedIn does is show you total impressions. It doesn't break out how many people stayed and lingered. It doesn't show you that granular level of detail. It just shows you how many people's feed it crossed. So that is for image posts and text posts or things like carousels, anything that isn't a video. When you create a video, they do break your analytics into 2 separate buckets where you have full impressions, which show how many people have actually seen the post on their feed as they're scrolling. And then it has, I think they've updated it to members reached as opposed to actual views, but it used to be views. And that's anybody that stayed on your video and lingered for at least 2 seconds to watch the video in some capacity. But you don't have that level of engagement or information coming from any other type of post. It just shows you the impressions. Comments obviously tell you someone has spent time and lingered and looked. I would say reactions to a certain extent, but we also know that there are people walking around pounding the like button and not necessarily deeply engaging with the content. And then there are other metrics if you go kind of deeper into it, you can see if people saved a post. I don't think a lot of people are typically, at least my content, people aren't saving it on LinkedIn at as high of a rate as I'm seeing some of the other engagement metrics. But updated recently in your post analytics, it also shows how many people viewed your profile after and how many new followers you got from that piece of content. So those people might be lurking. Those people might not actually be engaging with the post, and you don't know who it is specifically, but that's another good indicator. If you see that a specific post got a lot of people onto your profile, even if it didn't drive new followers, you know that it at least sparked interest and that there were people who were engaged with it. Anything
yes. No, I mean, I use the word reach all the time. I'm just talking about eyeballs on your content, right? And impressions is kind of a vanity. So I hear that impressions are kind of a vanity metric, right? Like the real measure of engagement is clicks and sales. But at the end of the day, and I know, Dan, you've experienced this, I've seen you in the flesh before. When people are at a networking event and they say, hey, I've seen your posts, or I like that video, whatever it is, that to me is what you're going after. You want people to recognize you out there for the content that you're creating. That's what I mean by reach.
And one other thing to add too that is now available in the analytics that didn't used to be, that gives you indication of activity, is if you have a premium account and you have something like view my website, see my services, or any of those different variations that you have, it also tracks how many people clicked that link on that post specifically as well. So that'll give you another indication of like what kind of conversion you have, even if it's not all engagement based.
Yes. And so Dave asked if I don't like his pizza posts.
I
And
told him
Dave,
you hate pizza.
huh?
I told him you hate pizza.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't. And then Alex has asked about Cuban sandwiches. Maybe we'll start a LinkedIn group. This is separate where we can post our food pictures together. And that can be our thing.
Food Pick LinkedIn group. All right.
Yes.
We've got another good question here from Keith. Can we speak to the reason why it's common to see posts on the feed that are weeks old and not new ones? Update that they did recently seems to be impacting this a little. When we did our feed analysis, most of the posts that were showing up on the feed were within a day of being posted as they popped up on the feed. But about 3-4 months ago, it was literally every post was like 3 weeks old. And I'm still seeing this specifically with videos. Video seems to have a higher hang rate, and it seems to get pushed out at a later time frame than like just text posts or image posts. And when I look at my own individual analytics, my video posts that are older are still getting higher impression rates than they did when I posted them initially. And so I think that this just still has something to do with LinkedIn trying to figure out the video side of things. And that's causing some not timeliness, we'll say it that way to be kind to LinkedIn, in terms of how things are showing up on the feed.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up our report. And so for Keith, for context, right? Everyone for context, we did a LinkedIn algorithm report last month where we actually analyzed over 100 different LinkedIn posts, looking at were they first connections, second connections, company pages, what type of content was it? Was it video? Was it image? Was it text post? Was it a poll? Was it an article? How old was the post? Was it days old, weeks old, hours old? And one of the things, to Emma's point, that we found is actually that a large majority of posts were actually day of. But all of us, and this is something we were talking about in the community, to Emma's point, over the winter, was like, you'd be seeing posts for like, come join us at this event. And the event was like over 2 weeks ago, right? And it was like all these super old posts. So that was something that is continuing to happen, but it's actually at a much lower rate. But I think it just stands out so much more when it's something like a timely event that you wanted to register for, but is no longer available to. I thought we had our questions in here, and there's so much food talk that's hard to get through all of the stuff that's coming through here. But if you have not already, slam that bingo sign up card. I know we have about, it's like 8 or 9 people have already joined up, which is great to see. I want to see some good bingo action happening here. Another thing I want to call you to do as well is take a look at the friends that you're making in the comment section. And if you have not already connected with some of those people, I highly encourage that too, both for the bingo side of things, so you can see them doing that and you can see that on your feed and you can engage with them and post with them. But also there's probably some like-minded individuals who are starting out on their journey. And it'd be good for you to connect with them as part of this process too.
We've got another good question that I want to pull up from Ryan that just came in. So what's the best way to amplify local industry community group posts? Is it to create a post using your personal following, reach, and authority, and then repost with thoughts using the smaller growing community group, or vice versa?
Yes. So what we saw in the analysis, and this has been true for a while now too, is that reposts get very little reach. So if you are trying to maximize your reach for content, the best way to do it is from a personal page and have it be something like a text, an image, or a video post. Don't include a link in it. That's going to get you the maximum reach. For whatever reason, LinkedIn is not a fan of sharing or expanding the reach of reposts, which is really a shame, right? Because if you're part of some organization and let's say they have an upcoming event or something's happening and you want to promote it, the default behavior from my perspective would be to repost it with your thoughts and say, look, I'm looking forward to this, or see you there, right? But the problem is it doesn't get that much reach. So if you're trying to really amplify it, I would say look at the content of it. If there's an image, that's already in that post that you can grab and save and share on your own, share for your personal profile. That's going to get you the most reach. Yes, that's a good question. I'll note too. I see this. I know we're talking about like community groups here too, but I see it all the time with businesses. I see people who are working for a business. Their company page will share something about an upcoming event or some sort of promotional thing, and their sales team or their executives or whoever else will just repost the company page, and that gets you almost no reach at all. Every once in a while, they have something that actually takes off because of the engagement on it. But the best thing to do is to post directly from a personal page.
Perfect. If you have any other questions, throw them in, but we're getting close to the end of our time here. And for anybody who is curious, I'm going to find the comments here. Like you said, there is a lot of talk here about food. The community members that we have in the comments, I have not paid them to say this. This is hopeful. And Alex said it yesterday, despite him being really good at content and having a strong presence before he joined the community, he was talking about the fact that it's been great to be a part of. So if you haven't signed up, grab the QR code there. James and I will keep kind of spreading the word here. But the other thing is too, is if you know somebody else who's trying to get active or has talked to you about this before, this is just like a really great way for people to start dipping their toe into content creation, getting more active in the comments, thinking through how they're optimizing their profile. So please share it wide and far with anybody that might get value from this. Our goal here is to help as many people as we can, because both James and I and the members of the Catalyst community and beyond that we know that are creating content, it's completely changed their careers and their businesses and the way that they show up. And so we just want to help more people do that.
Yes, and I'm going to do a quick little monologue that I started with.
Round it up with a monologue.
Yeah. No, I said at the beginning, but I want to emphasize this, that because people are joining today, right? The topic today is how to stop lurking and start engaging. And the goal here is not to log on to social media and get more active on social media because you feel like it's something you should do, right? Like, oh, like I hear LinkedIn's a good platform that I should be active on because it'll help me. That is not what I'm hoping that you get out of this. What I'm hoping that you get out of this is that there is a massive opportunity to engage more people and help more people, and most importantly, share your expertise. I know a good chunk of the people that were commenting on here, and some new faces too. And I know that everyone here is very good at what they do. They're experts. They have value that they can offer up to their immediate network, as well as just the professionals on LinkedIn at large. And we're talking about LinkedIn, but this could be on Instagram or TikTok or other platforms too. And our goal and our background, right? So both Em and I were in sales for a decade, and we did not want to sell the traditional way. We did not see value in picking up a phone and dialing random numbers and trying to slang our products and services at them, because we knew that's not how people want to buy. Right? People want to go online. They want to follow experts. They want to learn from them. And then when it comes time to buy, they're going to want to work with the people who are out there providing value and teaching people. So our entire framework, the favorite teacher framework, is this concept that you can become that favorite teacher for your industry by creating content on a regular basis, engaging your network online, building that trust. And again, when it comes time to buy, or maybe you're not even in the sales role, or maybe you don't run your own business, but maybe when it comes time to have some sort of career opportunity, you're the obvious choice, right? So we always talk about like, you are the invisible expert and you want to become that obvious choice. So that is something I hopefully can get very clear to you today. Like, we are not saying, hey, go become a LinkedIn influencer to start, slanging AI slop. That is not what we're saying. We are saying you are good at what you do. You can offer value, and here's a great way to get started.
One piece to add to this specific, I think anybody that's in a customer facing external role, whether that's a business owner or a salesperson, gets the value of this. I think that there is a really important part that you just mentioned there, James, for people who are maybe in a position where they're not in a sales role, but they want to advance their career. They want to become known for something. Maybe they want to just like help people see their portion of the industry through their lens and become that favorite teacher. There is a big movement right now, specifically tied to AI and everything that's happening, where we're starting to see people looking for people to fill roles based off of their skill sets and what they're able to actually demonstrate, because you can create a really good whatever with AI now. And companies are looking for people that are able to demonstrate their skills and their expertise. And LinkedIn, I've seen this discourse on TikTok and Instagram, is becoming a much bigger part of the recruiting process than it has been in the past. And it's because they want people that have demonstrated their skills and they're looking at the collection of skills that someone brings to the table versus titles or roles. And so this is a huge thing, whether you own your own business or you're in sales or you're just looking to have a great career moving forward. Being present, being active, and showcasing your experience will never be something you regret. So start it today and do it with the bingo.
Yes. So Cyber Bingo, and the last thing I'll say too, if you have any questions at all, Em and I are chronically available. So just shoot us a DM here on LinkedIn. No question is too stupid to ask us. We're always happy to help people get started on this process. And if you have any questions and you download the bingo and you have questions on how to do that, again, we are very available. Just shoot us a message and we're happy to help you. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining today. I appreciate all the discourse in the comments. I'm going to go slam some sandwiches and pizza and stuff like that because I'm getting hungry. But it was